Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, the show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs use human design to shift from hustle to flow without sacrificing results. Come here to become an unshakable human and build an unshakable business according to your human design. I'm your host, Nicole. Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, everybody. I'm your host, Nicole, and as always, I'm here and happy to be here with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about your human design money profile. And when I say money, in human design, I mean, I think what we're doing, and just when we talk about even what I do, how I bring human design together with business, I teach a really practical approach to it. What I'm doing is I'm taking an esoteric system that in its truest form is meant to take us beyond the material world. It's meant to take us beyond our material needs, which is why, like, pure alignment, there's a lot of trust in that. There's a lot of trust that you have to say, like, well, if I just totally believe and I just totally go through with everything that my design is calling me to, then, I'll be fine. And that is the theory, that if you let it all go, then you'll be fine. God will provide. But we do live in the material world. I have bills to pay. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm not Buddha. I'm still out here making a living, putting food on the table, paying for my house, doing the things that I do to take care of my family and to do the things that matter to me. So when we talk about money from a human design perspective, sometimes we can get a little caught up in using it. But I think what can be really interesting, there are certain aspects of human design that can tell us, I really like the word prosperity. That's more the word that we use in this community, is more about prosperity, because human design gene keys, this is actually going to be a very gene keys focused episode. Gene keys and human design, what they are kind of bringing us into is this knowledge that purpose and prosperity go together. That when we are truly living as ourselves, that prosperity will come. So with that in mind, I wanted to talk about your human design or gene keys prosperity profile. What's your relationship with money like? Now, obviously we can look at the entire chart and we're looking to embody certainly the whole chart, but I start out with the pieces that I feel have the most bang for your buck in the beginning. That's the authority matrix that I teach. I will actually be teaching that amongst many other things in my Authority Accelerator Masterclass. That's coming up on March 3rd. If you want to join us, it's totally free. All you have to do to register is go to Nicole Leno Official on Instagram and DM me the word masterclass, and we'll register you right there in the DMs, or go to nicoleleno.com/masterclass, and you can register there and you can be with us and you can learn everything I'm teaching you today, and then so much more that we go into in this masterclass. Replays are available, all of that. So if you're not in a friendly time zone for when we do this, no problem. You can watch them on the replays. So what I'm going to talk about today is, when I look at the whole chart, I'm looking at, I kind of take you through that authority matrix, which is a journey of embodying the gifts of specific aspects of your chart that will have the biggest impact to have you living in your gifts. So you are magnetizing people, so you are manifesting on a regular basis, so that you're able to do the things that feel right to you with ease and flow, so that you are making decisions that are true for you, so that you're showing up as the person you were born to be, living the purpose that you were created for. Why were you put on this earth? And by walking that path, prosperity comes. But outside of that, there's also one piece that I'm going to focus on today, which is how your relationship with money really functions. And human design can give you a neat little window into that. And like I said, this is a little bit more coming from I'm a Gene Keys guide, so this is more coming from my Gene Keys training, more so than human design. But your money profile, how do you relate to money? What's your relationship naturally, like your cosmic relationship with money? And the key to that is actually in your conscious Jupiter gate. And it's the line that we're looking at, actually. The gate can tell you a lot, but it's telling you something else. When we're looking at the way that you relate to money, everybody gets a theme, and it's based on the line that that gate is in. So, like, I am a fifth line Jupiter, my conscious Jupiter. So I have a fifth line profile. God, do I have a lot of 5 lines in my chart? But my 5 line, my money profile is aligned with the 5 line, and I'll explain what that all means and what the themes for each of them are. So how do you use this? What does this really tell us? It tells us the relationship that we have to have with money, kind of, that we have to surrender to so that we can have a better overall relationship, so we can actually experience prosperity in our lives. Sometimes we're trying to do it the wrong way. Sometimes we're really forcing things to be one way when it's like, no, I actually function this way with money. This is how it works. So I'm going to break all of these down for you. I'm going to go through each of the 6 lines and just explain what that profile looks like. And my hope is that by the end of this episode, you know what your profile is. You can really look at the way that you relate to money, your relationship with it, how you operate with it. Is it in alignment with your line theme? Or maybe can you make some adjustments that start to have real impact in your life? And you can start to see what embodying this stuff really starts to look like, how it really starts to change your life. How little tweaks, like I always say, you don't need to take a sledgehammer to your life. You don't need to understand every element of your chart and be perfect all the time. That's not the vibe. The vibe is taking little tweaks here and there. And as you do the work, those tweaks start to stay in place more. And then you can tweak other things and you can focus on other things. And this is how we start to really fine-tune ourselves as humans, where suddenly we are just such an expression of our gifts that people can't help but reach out to us. They can't help but be connected to us. They want what we have because we are such examples of something that's so pure. When we're living in our gifts, people come to us for our gifts. And that's what makes it easy for us to deliver, because it's like, oh, this is what I do. Like, this is who I am. If you've ever said, I want to get paid to be me, human design is how you get paid to be you. But now let's dive into the 6 line themes of your money profile so you understand what your relationship with money is really about. Like, what's like the underlying theme, okay? So let's start with the first line. We're going to go in order. The first line is aligned with, they call it simplicity. This is about creation. The first line doesn't really care about money. It's not really interested in it. The first line is inherently creative. All first lines are, of all the things, but this gate happens to be about prosperity, luck. Like, what's our relationship to this? Like, what's your theme? Your theme, if you have a first line Jupiter, is going to be simplicity. It's going to be like, I create for the joy of creating. I don't really care about money. I'm not really interested in money. These are like the artists that you see that like they have all of this money and they still live like completely simple lives, or they just seem so unaffected by the riches that they have. That's like a first line theme. It doesn't mean you don't get to have money. What it does mean is that you might do better if you have a first line theme and you have been pushing and you've been spending a lot of money and you've been doing a lot of things with your money. You might be looking at this and you might say, well, how could I maybe be a little bit more aligned with my creative force? How could I maybe fall in love with the idea of creating money and just letting it sit there? Can I put it away? Like, first lines could be really good at saving. Saving might be something that you feel, and if you're a first line theme and you don't save, it might be something you want to try. Saving's good for everybody, but it's kind of a core tenet for you. It's going to be something that stabilizes you in your life. Okay? Now, the second line is like a second line theme. It's flowy. It is like, it loves money and it's like, it's part of its like thing, but it also like doesn't. care about money. The second line doesn't chase. The second line gets chased. The second line gets called. So it's about receiving. It really is about being open to receive. It's about being just there and available for it. And that has a major effect. So if you are chasing money and you are a 2-line Jupiter, you're going to want to learn to lean back a little bit. And you're going to want to look, and that's where the rest of your chart can give you some clues as to where are you meant to lean back and where are you meant to lean in, right? So you might want to try really working with these concepts around really visualizing money coming to you, being open to receive, digging through any trauma that you have that might be blocking your ability to receive money. You might want to do some money work. And again, if you listen to my last episode, I actually talked about how human design, and particularly the way that we work with it inside my programs, the way that we work with it in this holistic way is human design starts to take care of all of your money problems and all of your money mindset stuff and the trauma release. Why? Because we focus on embodiment. And when you focus on embodiment, you're just making you better the whole time. And when we make you better, we're getting rid of all the junk too that's holding you back and keeping you from what you want. So as a second line theme, if you feel like you are blocking money now, that you're pushing and trying to get money all the time, but it's not coming, then you might have a receiving problem. And that will be a key problem that will keep you in a constant state of struggle with money. Okay? Third line, fun. Third lines are fun. Third lines are interested in, like, they want to spend money, they want to hang out, they want to party, they want to go do fun stuff, they want to travel. Like third lines is very third line theme. It's like, let's do it, screw it, let's do it. So if you are a third line money theme, then you might, and you're like a super saver and you're like in fear with money, then you might want to go and like splurge on something that just feels like fun. Take your family someplace great. Go on a little tiny shopping spree, something that feels like indulgent, but without being like overly crazy, and just experiment with it. Okay? I'm not advocating that you go and blow it in Vegas, unless you feel really called to. But whatever feels like an experiment with this, because everything with human design is an experiment, not because we don't believe in it, but because when we experiment, we start to prove to ourselves how true this stuff is. When you start experimenting, you'll start to see, oh my God, that's true, that's true, that's true, that's true. And then you feel more confident in the experiments because you're just like, yeah, I just need to prove it to myself. And then it's easier to surrender to the process for all the rest of the times, for everything else that we put you through, right? Everything else that we put in front of you. Fourth line, giving, charity, giving to others, helping others. Fours are helpers. It's going to be helping the people in your community, helping the people in your family. Give it away. And I know that there's someone in my program who has a fourth line theme, and she's like, yeah, I give all of my money away. And it's like, everything has to be balanced. But for a fourth line theme, if you're never giving money to other people, then you're probably going to feel like money doesn't feel right. It is what you're meant to do with it. So how can you create balance there where you're still giving charitably, but you're also stable in your own home? Because the fourth line also loves stability. It's not meant to give it all away and be in fear all the time. The fourth line needs a solid foundation under them. They don't like to have a boat rocked. They don't like to be insecure and unsure of where they're going or what's happening. They need that rock solid foundation. So you can't abandon that need and give it all away, but some of it needs to be given. I always think about, like, with fourth lines, I think that those bank accounts where you have like a savings account and then you have a giving account, and then like that's what you want to have, where you have enough money and you've separated your money where it's like, I feel great giving this amount of money every month, right? You have something, a piece of your money, 10%, maybe 20%, but don't give away all your money. But you want to have that consistently for a fourth line. Fifth line, this is mine, because I have like a million fives in my chart. So fifth line, this investing is really what the fifth line is about. Investing to make things better. That's the high expression of this. So when I think about that, I absolutely am an investor. Like that's what I see money for. I invest in myself. I invest in my business. I invest in my home. We invest in the stock market. There's investing. And the more that I align with that, investing in our future, that's really what it's about. The fifth line has big plans, typically. We're typically like, we're looking big picture. We're not just looking at this like now we're looking for our son. We're like, how do we invest so he is set and we don't have to worry about him and he doesn't have to worry? And if something happens to us, like, are we set up? Like all of that, there's a bigger vision there of like, how do we take care of everybody? How do we take care of the future, right? And then the sixth line, we come to the six, and like everything else with the six, the five is practical. The six is not. The six is like, we don't even need money. Different than the first line of not being interested in money. The sixth line is going to be more in alignment with like kind of being so far ahead of us that they're like, I see a world where money is not necessary. And they might be living there already in their head. So I always say like the sixth line is flexible in everything. Like the sixth line can be an investor, it can give, it can have fun with money. The sixth line always has flexibility in the way that they function because they kind of encompass all of the lines. They're the culmination of everything. But in general, it's about being, a visionary and having a vision for your money. And it usually has something to do with more than just what's right for you. It's not like purely practical like the five of like, okay, well, what's our portfolio look like? And like that's me. But the sixth line is more about that really grander picture that goes beyond themselves and the people that they know. It is about like the really big picture and beyond like this moment in time that we're in and beyond like, 10 years from now. It's like, what does society really need? What do we really need? If it all came crumbling down and the six were building it, we were building from a six line world like we're about to enter into, then there might be no money. Like the six would say, we don't need money. It doesn't really help. But we're not there yet. So that's why when I say like human design it's taking us someplace, it's a system for where we're going. It is a system that's useful for where we are, but often we need some other things besides just human design in order to have the material success that we're looking for here on the material plane. But it can give us tons of insight into how we can create that success. And I honestly don't think that there's a better tool out there. There's nothing so comprehensive and so accurate and so helpful in not just telling you what is, but helping you make what is better. That the shadow has a gift. God, it's my favorite thing. Every shadow contains a gift. No shadow needs to go. It just needs to be turned up. It just needs to be shifted. How much power there is in that. It's beautiful. So I hope that you found this episode helpful. I hope that you liked this little dive into the money profiles. Let me know what you thought about it. DM me on Instagram. Tell me if you loved this. Tell me if you like this. Share it with your community on Instagram. Tag me. I'm at Nicole Official. I'd love to see what you thought about it. And I'd appreciate the share so that we get word out about this show and we help spread the word about what we do here and hopefully get some other listeners so that we get to grow the impact that we get to do with the show. But if you want to register for the Authority Accelerator Masterclass, just DM me the word Masterclass on Instagram. We will register you there in the DMs, or go to NicoleLeno.com/masterclass and you can register right on the website. It's totally free. I promise you will love it. I would love to see you there. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thanks for letting us help you become unshakable with human design, everybody. We will see you next time. If you love this episode and you're a fan of the show, please show us the love on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with other entrepreneurs on their human design journey, join our free Facebook community, Human Design for Entrepreneurs. Go to NicoleLano.me/podcast links to join the group, book a human design reading with me, or access our free human design resources. We'll see you there.